Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Happy Thursday and beginning of March Madness to everybody. So I've switched around this call-in show from today, then I switched it to tomorrow, and now I've obviously switched it back to today. Welcome to the dad life. You got to do what you got to do. So anyway, here we are. Got the call-in show. Anybody who wants to call in, the call-in number is 855-902-9368. We could talk about March Madness brackets. We could talk about NFL trades. We could talk about college football projections. Whatever it is that you feel like you want to talk about, we can talk about it. Let me see who's in the chat here real quick. Before I start, though, I want to give a big thank you to, where did I put it? The Super Chat members for the month of March so far. Melissa Stallings with a $50 Super Chat. Leon Hurricanes with a $50 Super Chat. Michael Sachs, Cole, the Missouri fan, Catfish, and Tiger Nation are all in the running for the month of March. I did send out the Visa gift card. I did send out the t-shirt to Smallville. Smallville got his t-shirt yesterday. He sent me a picture of it, so I'm glad he got that. I'm still waiting on the word from DeGoat Watson whether he got his $50 Visa gift card or not. So let me see who's in the chat here real quick, and then I'll check the phone lines. NMD TV, good afternoon to you, sir. Hound Dogs in the house. Boilermakers Forever. Prince 6'1", my man. Nathaniel, legendary fan. Hi, Pigskin Pete. Hello, Nathaniel. Billy Dawson in the house. Said, I had Murray State. Yeah, boy. So I haven't really paid a lot of attention to my bracket. I'm in two or three different brackets. I think three. I picked different stuff for all of them. The first three games I lost, and then I won the next four. So I think I'm 4-3, and I haven't checked it in the past hour, so I don't know what it is now. But when you enter multiple brackets like that, you get confused about which team you had in which bracket, because I don't make every bracket the same. You know, I do them all different. But I do have Duke winning the whole thing, and I think that's probably the vast majority of people have Duke winning the whole thing because of Zion Williamson. But I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody like Tennessee or even Virginia, North Carolina. My dark horse in this whole thing, maybe not to win the whole thing, but my dark horse to make it maybe at least into the Elite Eight is Oregon. That's my Cinderella team. So we'll see. What's up, College Football Maniac? How you doing, sir? Let me X out of here and just check the phone lines real quick and see if anybody's on there. I don't want to leave anybody waiting. That's for sure. If I can get out of here. Oh, before I do that, Hound Dog coming through with the Super Chat. Hound Dog. That puts you right in the running, sir. Thank you, sir. He didn't leave a comment, but Hound Dog is good people. And I told this to Catfish when I was on his show the other day, and I wasn't just, kissing ass or anything. I'm actually rooting for Tennessee to do well in this thing, because when it comes to the ACC in football, I root for them because of the hate on the ACC in football. But when it comes to the ACC in basketball, I have no love for any of them. I don't like Duke. I don't like North Carolina. The only one I kind of like, maybe just a little bit, is Virginia, and that's because of my wife's family connections to Virginia. That's it. So I'll be rooting for Tennessee. Plus, Tennessee has one of the most veteran teams. They have a bunch of seniors on their team. And in this day and age when we have all these one-and-done teams, whether it's Kentucky or whoever, the elite basketball teams have all these one-and-done teams, it's nice to see a team that has a bunch of seniors on it. So pull for the seniors, if nothing else. Pardon me for a second. I'm going to see if anyone's on the line. Nope. So still no callers. Anybody wants to call in, the number is 855-902-9368. And again, if you're a basketball fan, which I don't claim to be, everybody loves the tournament, right? I don't watch maybe 4 or 5 regular season basketball games the whole year, and most of them are all Clemson games. So I'm not any expert on college basketball by any stretch of the imagination. But we could talk about March Madness. If you're a fan of one of these teams that's in the tournament, again, we can talk about college football, NFL football, whatever you want to talk about. Because it's funny, just in this past week alone, I've uploaded multiple videos that piss people off about the NFL, about the ACC versus the SEC, which I don't know why that's controversial. I was doing spitting facts. What else? Today I did the Clemson offense, and all I did was go on there and say that I thought the Clemson offense is going to be the best offense in the country this year. And then people start saying, well, you're getting a big head. You think you're unbeatable. No, I didn't say we're unbeatable. All I said was that I think that Clemson's going to have the best offense in the country this year, period. We'll see. I mean, listen, I'm not right about everything, although most stuff I am right about, but that's a different story. What's up, Comic Dude 45? How you doing, sir? Tom Izzo, big trash. That's definitely some Big Ten hate going on there. I don't have anyone in the Big Ten, but F them all. Also, Purdue plays Tennessee, so the gloves come off. Comic Dude 45 says, I prefer basketball to football, but marching band to pep band. Okay. Clemson and Oklahoma are going to have the two best offenses in college football. I would tend to agree. You can put Oklahoma in that category every single year, no matter who the quarterback is. Well, first of all, they play in the Big 12, so their path of resistance as far as the defenses in the Big 12 go have something to do with that. But they also do have amazing skill players every single year all over the offense, and they have one of the best offensive minds as far as the head coach in Lincoln Riley. So, yeah, I would have to agree with that. There's a bunch of other teams. It's not just Clemson and Oklahoma. Alabama last year, I mean, look at how they did on offense. They're not going to go away. Ohio State, even teams like Missouri. Just probably 3 or 4 other teams in the Big 12. I would throw another couple SEC teams in there. So there's just, there's a lot to go around. But I just look at this Clemson team this year. I just don't know how anybody can defend that. I don't care what defense it is. So let me check and see if there's a call here. Still no calls. So I'll continue to answer questions here in the chat. I'm watching the Florida and Nevada game right now. Florida's up 17-14. 8 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first half. Billy Dawson says, our offensive line worries me right now, so I don't think it's going to be great. Billy, you're being the biggest non-homer that I can think of, because I'm sure Alabama's offensive line is going to be just fine. I really can't think, the way that they recruited, that Alabama's going to have any real weaknesses. So now I don't know. You know better than I do about, specifically about the offensive line. But, it's a good thing. You're on top of the college football world if you're somebody like Billy Dawson or an Alabama fan, and your biggest worry is how good your offensive line is going to be, because you know that there's really no weaknesses anywhere else on that entire team. So, what's up, Irish Panther? Good afternoon to you, sir. I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic, which I happen to know that you are. He says, if lucky, we might win 4 natties in a row with Trevor Lawrence and Justin Ross. Well, that will be more than luck, number one. Number two, I seriously doubt that Justin Ross or Trevor Lawrence will stay for 4 years. They would be crazy if they did, particularly Trevor Lawrence. If he continues to be the projected number 1 quarterback or possibly the number 1 overall pick in the draft after 3 years, why would he come back for a 4th year? That would not make much sense at all. Sorry, I'm getting some notifications here. So, Lawrence will replace Tom Brady's spot for sure. That's definitely not for sure, because in order for the Patriots to be picking in the level where they're going to pick Trevor Lawrence, they're going to have to tank in 2020. I mean, I guess anything's possible, but I don't even see, even if Tom Brady retires after next year, which I don't think he will, I think he'll be there in 2020, and there's no way that Tom Brady's going to throw the season. There's no way that Bill Belichick's going to throw the season. So I just don't see that happening. Out of all 32 teams in the NFL, I think the least likely to get Trevor Lawrence is the Patriots. Anyone else rocking perfection? I'm assuming you're talking about the bracket, and I would venture to say that the answer is no for most people. I mean, I guess through this many games, there's maybe some people. The chances of having a perfect bracket from beginning to end, you have a better chance of winning the Powerball. Anything is possible in the world of college football. Yes, I agree. And I even acknowledged that today on my video about Clemson's offense. I went through the entire roster and said how loaded they were at every single position across the board. But that really all depends on Trevor Lawrence if he stays healthy for 12 games. If Trevor Lawrence gets knocked out at any point during the season, then you're talking about a major setback. You know, I mean, the next best guy is good, but not even in the same stratosphere as Trevor Lawrence. So, yes, anything can happen in college football. I agree. Anybody wants to call in? Your number is 855-902-9368. Don't be shy. Don't be scared. I won't bite. Actually, I take that back. I might. Gavin Pastrich, good afternoon to you, sir. Says, perfect right now. Good. Jack, good afternoon to you, sir. Says he has 2 losses right now. Again, I need to check my bracket when I get off of here. At the time I started the stream, or a couple minutes before, I had 3 losses. My bracket got busted in the very first game, and then the next game I lost, and then the next game I lost. I was 0 for 3 for the first 3 games, and then I won 3 or 4 in a row. KP, what's up? Finkel is Einhorn. Yes, and Einhorn is Finkel. Purdue's going to be on late. What time's Purdue come on? All right, looks like I got a call here. Go ahead and pick that up. And it looks like it is my man, Prince 6'1". Good afternoon. You're on with Pete.
Pete, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Prince? How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How are you?
Hey, I'm amazing and fantastic. You already know that, though.
You got all this fancy call-in stuff now.
Yeah, it's just a website, man. That's all it is.
That's awesome, dude. Hey, you ready for that spring game or what?
Hey, I couldn't be more excited about the spring game. What is that, 2 weeks from this coming Saturday?
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Definitely. We'll have to get on all the details and all that. We'll get up on that off the air. But I had two subjects to talk about today. Let's go with the first one. This has been driving me nuts all off season with these Alabama excuses. So does a tough schedule, does it sharpen you or does it wear you down? Like, because I keep hearing both sides of this coin.
Well, I guess the answer to that is whatever fits your narrative of whatever, complaint you're trying to make. Because I always thought
that's so true. I mean, that's all I hear is it's both ways,
I mean, I always thought that a tough schedule, prepared you for playing tough teams, not the other way around.
That's what I thought.
But when you lose the way that Alabama lost, then they flip it around and say, well, we got worn out by our schedule. But listen, they were 14-0 going into the game.
Yeah, they're so tired. They can't get up for the national championship. Oh, man.
Yeah, no, they were 14-0 going into the game. They can't make any excuses, period. I mean, they can make all the excuses they want, but, it is what it is, man. Here's the thing that surprised me a little bit is because – and I know that Alabama's got a proud fan base and and all of that. I get it, and they've been the dominant team for the past decade, and nobody can take that away from them. But Clemson's seen them 4 years in a row in the playoffs now, and every time that Clemson's lost in the playoffs to Alabama, you didn't see Clemson fans all over the world, making excuses and all this and that and crying and whining about it. But as soon as it happened to Alabama, and the way that it happened, there was just a lot of butthurt crying, and that surprised me a little bit. I got to be honest.
That's all it was. It was ridiculous. And the second thing you were talking about, I saw you were talking with Billy. And as of right now, our projected starters on the O-line, we'll have 4 seniors plus Jackson Carman. So you can't be more excited about that. I mean, seniority is everything when it comes to O-line because it's all about communication. I'm not saying they're going to be more talented than last year necessarily, but it does help having 4 seniors, plus the number 1 offensive tackle in the 2018 class.
Right, and Jackson Carman, he'll be moving over to take over Mitch Hyatt's position, I think. Do you know anything about that?
Yep. Yeah, left tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where he played all last year.
I mean, honestly,
So the only thing we got to worry about is I'm not worried about our secondary, honestly. This year is going to be better than next year. We just have to worry linebacker and – we have some dudes on that D line. I'm not really worried about our D line. It's more the linebackers that I'm worried about because all of our linebackers are gone, all of our starters.
Yeah, and so that brings me to something that some people have been asking me on my channel. I've never addressed it before, but this is a good time to go ahead and do that. People asking me, do we think that we should move Tanner Muse to linebacker? I don't know. I say no because – last year there was some linebackers injury problems, and he actually filled in for a couple of games at the linebacker spot. And I think one of them, if I'm not mistaken, was the Syracuse game. And I think the other one was the South Carolina game. And we saw what happened in both of those games. I mean, those are the 2 teams that really played us the toughest and scored the most points against us. So, I'm not saying that's Tanner Muse.
Yeah, I don't think he's big enough.
Yeah. The thing with Tanner Muse is he's put on so much weight since he's got to Clemson that he's almost got too big to be a safety. He looks more like a linebacker.
Yeah, he's a run stopper. I mean, he's terrible in coverage. We all know that. That's why you have to play 2 or 3 safeties deep. I mean, if we're running a zone, it's fine. I just don't trust him in man to cover anybody.
Right.
Especially not a deep post route or a deep seam. I don't trust him man to man to do that.
So where do you see, or do you see, Jake Venables, Brent Venables' son, fitting into the linebacker core this year? Do you think it's still, he's still too young, or what?
Him and Mike Jones Jr. was a high 4-star. Mike Jones Jr. will be a sophomore this year. I think he was. I can't remember if he redshirted or if he was just injured last year, but he was a really high 4-star guy, a lot of praise at everything. So him and Jake could take over. One of them will have to take over one of the linebacker spots, not both.
Yeah.
Because we kind of like those smaller linebackers. We're not like the SEC, like those big, heavy run stoppers,
Yeah.
We kind of use our safeties more like intermediate up and help us out.
Yeah, our safeties play a lot in the box. But Venables, man, he doesn't really have any one style of defense. That's what makes it so hard to defend. Is he gives so many different looks. I say so many different looks in comparison to the vast majority of other football teams. So we don't have.
Well, that's why he's the best defensive coordinator in football. He plays with what we have. He uses the players that he has that year, and he uses their strengths. I think that's why he is the best defensive coordinator.
Yeah, see that for the vast majority of the games you play is a plus, but like you said, they don't really recruit a certain type of player, just a run stopper, just a big guy who's going to stuff the middle, that sort of thing. He gets guys that are all versatile, and he moves them all over the field, and that's good for most games. But if you play a team that has a very particular strong point, like if they're an elite running team or something like that, then that's where it can get sticky, and that's where we've had problems with teams like Alabama in the past, is because when they've had elite running games, I mean,
right.
listen, and both
those guys' name.
Yeah, those first two playoff games, or one playoff game, one national championship that we played them against. They ran all over us. We couldn't stop the run. That was, I mean, yeah, right.
He ran all over us, and so did the other big guy.
And so did Hurts.
I forget his name. Yeah. So, I mean, that's where like an LSU style linebacker would, help out like a big 250-pound, guy that can stuff them at the line. But at the same time, you're giving up the pass right there when you have a guy like that can't drop back into coverage. And with Tua, I mean, it's a double-edged sword right there. So.
Yeah,
we'll know a lot more of the spring game. I'll say that. We'll see who goes out with the ones and twos.
Yeah, spring game will be fun. I don't put a whole lot of stock in the spring game, to be honest with you. I mean, it's a glorified fashion show, really. I mean, it's fun to see the players and see what skills they got, but it doesn't resemble a real football game in any way, shape, or form. So, but you're right. We'll get to see a little bit.
Right. Well,
we get to see a little bit of the new guys. That's what everyone wants to see the spring game for,
Yeah, true that. You know who's going to be there, right, as a recruit?
Who, DJ?
DJ Ugalele from California is the number 6 overall prospect, number 1 QB guy for 2025. He's going to be there at the spring game. And he said he's going to announce late spring, early summer, but he's leaning Clemson right now. I mean, we really need him to follow up Trevor Lawrence. I mean, this guy's like 6'5", 245 pounds. He's like already the size of Ben Roethlisberger and has cannon for an arm.
Yeah, he's.
So this will be if we get locked down Trevor Lawrence's legacy. That'll be huge for the Clemson program.
Yeah. And the word is that first of all, he's being heavily recruited by everybody because he's the number 1 recruit in the country. But, I think it's going to come down to Alabama, Clemson, and probably Oregon. Those seem to be the 3 favorites for him, as far as I know, from what I could tell, just by following him on Twitter and stuff.
Get out of the state of California. So
yeah. So the other thing with him, though, is that there's 2 other players where the 3 of them, I think it's 2 receivers, if I'm not mistaken, they all want to go to the same place, and they're all being recruited by all these teams. So it's going to be a sort of like a collective decision.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's going to be like a collective decision between these 3.
Almost like what Duke did in basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost like the Duke recruits in basketball. Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus the number 1 player in the 2020 class, that Brian Breesy kid, who's like, I think he said he was 6'4.5", 290. So he would be at like the Christian Wilkins type player. I mean, this guy's incredible. Like he's gonna be the next J.J. Watt. Like if he keeps progressing the way he is, he's leaning Clemson to Ohio State now. He's from Maryland, I think.
What's his name?
Ryan Breesy. He's the number 1 player in the 2020 class.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. That's somewhere that we have been lacking.
We locked down the number 1. And
yeah. We've really been lacking at tight end since Leggett left. Although the guy that we recruited last year was a top recruit, but he was a true freshman last year, so I think he'll play better this year.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to the spring game, and I'm going to let you run here, but it's good to talk to you, bro. I'll see you soon for the spring game.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for calling in, man.
All right.
All right. So there you have it, folks. Prince 6'1", coming at you live from Greenville. I think he's in Greenville, South Carolina right now. He actually lives most of the year not far from me, about 20 minutes from where I live. But I guess due to his work, he's up there around the Clemson area. So I'm going to go up there the day before the spring game, hang out with him and a couple of the other guys, and then we'll go to the game together. Anybody who's going to be there, please let us know. Come out, hang out. We'll have an amazing and fantastic time. I promise you that. The number to call in is 855-902-93 And let me get out of here for a second. I saw a couple of comments that I want to respond to. I was trying to read through the comments when I was on that phone call there. Yeah, Bo Scarborough. That's who he was talking about, Billy Dawson. Border Bob says, if we can take 2 Herb Streets, we can take 3 badass players for sure. The Herb Street boys are our preferred walk-ons. So we won't be seeing them in any meaningful snaps in this next season. I seriously doubt that. But Billy says Oregon is the top of DJ's list right now. His dad's favorite is Alabama. Alabama favorite right now is Bryce Young. That sounds like a cluster F. Greenville, South Carolina is a great city. Yeah, KP. I'm a Charleston boy, born and raised in Charleston, South Carolina, which I consider to be the greatest city in the state of South Carolina. But, of course, I'm biased. But I always said if I was going to live anywhere in the state of South Carolina other than Charleston, it would definitely be Greenville. No doubt about it. It's really nice there. Plus, it's flat here. We got the beaches. We've got the lakes. We've got all that. And we've got the historic downtown, the city. But in Greenville, you've got the mountains. The weather's way better up there than it is down here. And, of course, my favorite thing is it's, 30 minutes from Clemson. Billy Dawson says Jordan Birch is high on Clemson now. Byron Breezy, they're a lot to his recruitment. Let me check the phone lines here. Nope. Anybody 20 to 25 minutes. Of course, tomorrow I'll be recording a segment with Mark Dudley talking Michigan football. And that's something I've been looking forward to doing for a while. I get a lot of pushback from Michigan fans. People think I hate Michigan football for some reason. I mean, I'm really impervious to it. I don't hate Michigan football at all. I mean, not any more than I hate any other football team in America. I'm not a believer in Harbaugh, but I don't want to spill all the beans as far as what I'm going to talk to him about. But you guys know how I feel about Michigan football. Most of you do anyway, if you've been here for a while. KP says, Pete, thoughts on Clemson's tight end position? I lived in Charleston downtown for a few years. Super fun and fond memories. What's up, buddy? Pete Jr. KP, I just addressed that on the phone call with Prince. The tight end position is not the strongest on the offense. Of course, it is loaded on offense as we are. It's definitely the weaker of the links ever since Jordan Leggett left. But the guy that started last year was a true freshman, and I can't think of his name right now. Anyway, I think he's going to get a lot better this year. And we also picked up another good recruit this year. I expect us to get better at it. But you're right, it is probably the weakest of all of the positions on the offense. That is analysts voting on where they think they're going, Prince. Yeah, nobody knows where these kids are going. These high, especially people like him, DJ. And if you're the number one recruit in the country and you're being recruited by Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia, Florida State, Oregon, Southern Cal, Texas, Oklahoma, I mean, if they narrow it down to 3 or 4 people, you don't know where they're going, especially over a year out, or at this point, a year out. Yeah, Galloway, thank you. Oh, he's one of the ones that got the busted for Austrian? Yeah, he probably will be suspended then if I had to guess. I don't know, though, man. Here's the thing about the NCAA is they're not consistent on their rules when it comes to drug policy, when it comes to anything else. And the proof of that this year is the transfer. So we just got word, what was it, yesterday or the day before, that Tate Martell got a waiver? What? Now, that shocked me. I mean, I understand why they gave Justin Fields the waiver, even if it was sort of a, just an excuse. But nobody wants to mess with the whole racism thing, so the NCAA, they probably stamped that thing before it even hit the desk, to put him through. But Tate Martell, what reasonable excuse as far as a hardship can you have for him, especially since in the weeks leading up to him transferring or announcing that he was going to transfer, the guy was saying he wasn't going anywhere and he was going to fight for the job and he was happy where he was. So what happened within that 2 weeks? You can't sit there and say, if you're Martell, that the whole Urban Meyer thing is the reason that you're transferring. Well, you can say that, but you didn't say that 2 weeks before you transferred, and that thing has been going on for months at that point. So the NCAA is frustrating because you never know what they're going to do. They're not consistent. And so who knows, I don't put any faith in that they're going to punish one player from one team similar than they would do another as far as the drug policy goes with the Austrian or anything else. I don't know. Tate Martell ran from a guy that ran from a guy. Yeah. Nonetheless, at this point, the transfer thing has just been blown wide open. 3 or 4 years ago, it was difficult to transfer. They hardly gave waivers to anybody. The only way you could transfer is if you were a graduate. These days, you could just say, I was walking down campus one day and somebody, yelled the F word at me, and so I don't feel safe there. It's just you can transfer for any reason now, and they're going to punch it through because they're scared of lawsuits is the reason I think it is. That's just my opinion, but anybody wants to call in, they got another 15 minutes or so. 855-902-9368. Andrew McGee, learn to shoot basketball. Off-season SEC, ACC talk is a sad attempt to make a McDonald's menu choice healthy. Sir, I have no idea what you're talking about. Maybe you can explain to me what you're trying to say there. What's up, Brandon Lutz? Good afternoon to you. I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. What's up, Karam Mawani? Says, I'm new to this channel. Well, stick around, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I do college football, NFL football related videos year round, 365 days a year. And I'm sure if you hang around for more than a week, you might actually start to like me. But I can't guarantee that. No, I don't do NBA. I don't even really do college basketball, to be honest with you. I mean, March Madness is going on right now. Anyone who wants to talk about it, we can talk about it. But this is 99.9% a football channel and 90% a college football channel. Brandon Luce says, I'm an Eagles fan. Hold on. Brandon, you should call in. I got some questions for you about the Eagles. I don't think I've had an Eagles fan call in yet. Number is 855-902-9368. As an Eagles fan, hold on a second. As an Eagles fan, I don't know if you're happy about what's going on in Philadelphia, or probably more importantly, what's going on in New York. Karam Mawani says, I'm a Cowboys fan who lives in Dallas. So we got an Eagles fan, a Dallas fan. Mortal enemies there. I see you guys saying the ACC is the best basketball conference. Yeah, I don't know. I guess you could say they're the deepest for the longest period of time. But again, I mean, there's so many good basketball teams that aren't even in the Power Five. So, I'm a Panthers fan, obviously, says Irish Panther. KP is a Cardinals fan, St. Louis Cardinals. I could probably name, if I really sat down and put my mind to it, I could probably name maybe 10 professional baseball players, current. Now, back in the 90s, I could probably name 300 of them. But, all right, looks like I got a call here. I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. Good afternoon. You're on with Pete.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, Pete, this is Brandon.
Yeah, what's up, man?
I'm out of yours. Man, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing and fantastic. How are you doing, though?
I'm all right. But my dad's dying, so. My dad's dying really good right now. He's dying.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. That's terrible.
Yeah, I know, it's horrible.
So, but what do you...
So about the Eagles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm happy we got Deshaun Jackson back.
All right, so you're happy about Deshaun Jackson. Tell me how you feel about Nick Foles going to Jacksonville.
Well, I tell my friends a lot, I don't like that. I don't like that because he was good. He won a Super Bowl with us. So I didn't really like that.
So if you had to choose between Nick Foles and Carson Wentz, and one of them had to go, which one would you choose to stay? Which one would you choose to go?
I like both of them, but I think sorry, Foles, but you have to know. I had sorry, Foles, but I like both of them, so I have to.
Yeah, I think that Wentz is a better quarterback. Obviously, the guy's got, he's prone to injury, but I think he has a higher upside than Foles does. And, I mean, that season when Foles led them, the last few games during the playoffs and everything and was the Super Bowl MVP, that was all amazing and that was all great. I wouldn't be planning on Foles leading any franchise, no matter how good they are, through an entire season to a Super Bowl and winning it. So I think it was a good move by them as far as the getting rid of that cap hit and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. Now the Eagles picked up Vinny Curry back.
Right.
So that's good for us too.
So who's left in the in free agency that you think that you might be able to get that you want?
I think I want Eric Berry. Used to be a Chief.
Oh, okay, that's a good one. There's another one that's had injury issues. There's been talk about him going to my Carolina Panthers too, and I'm on the fence about it. I mean, he's a great player, he's a great guy, but if you can't make it through an entire season, then you're not really much use to anybody, really. So he'll get picked up by somebody, but I think it's going to be a minimum deal. I don't think he's going to get a big contract with anybody.
Yeah. Like, there's one person I like on the Carolina Panthers.
Who?
That's Cam Newton.
You like Cam Newton?
Cam Newton? I like Cam Newton.
Well, you might be like one of 10 people in the entire world that's not a Carolina Panthers fan that likes Cam Newton. You know that, right? Yeah. But I agree with you. I like Cam Newton too. Let me ask you this, though. So if you're an Eagles fan, obviously you hate the Cowboys, you hate the Giants, and I'm assuming you hate the Redskins. On a scale of 1 to 10,
definitely,
how bad do you hate the Cowboys?
I would say a 10.
A 10. All right, that's good. You're a good man. On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you hate the Giants?
after what they did, definitely like 9.5.
5.5.
They got rid of Odell.
Yeah, but
9.5.
9.5. Okay, so all right, so you hate the Cowboys slightly more than you hate the Giants, and so I'm assuming out of all those teams, you probably hate the Redskins the least because they're the Redskins. I don't know, mate. You tell me. On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you hate the Redskins?
Probably say like the Giants, 5.5.
All right.
Because our whole division is like Eagles are number one. I'll tell you my top 5 favorite teams for the football. I have top 5. It's the Eagles, Titans, Steelers, Raiders, and the Panthers. I like the Panthers.
Those are your favorite teams?
My top 5 right now.
So what is it about the Steelers that you like? That's a pretty interesting thing for a Eagles fan to like.
They're both from Pittsburgh. They're from Pittsburgh, and like Philly and Pittsburgh is like.
I got you. So you just like the city of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
All right, nothing wrong with that. So before we get off the phone here, I want you to give me your regular season record prediction. Way too early prediction for the Eagles next year.
With the 16 games, right?
Yep.
To 13-3.
13-3. Wow, that's pretty optimistic.
I think my Eagles.
So you're 13-3. You will definitely be winning the NFC East, no doubt, at 13-3. So that would give you most likely probably a 1 seed in the playoffs, and maybe even home field advantage. Probably home field advantage. So your regular season prediction puts you right in the Super Bowl hunt right off the bat.
That's what I'm thinking.
Hey, man.
And the story with the Raiders, why I like the Raiders, is because my dad likes the Raiders. And so that's the story because I like the Raiders.
Do you like John Gruden?
No, because my dad's a Raiders fan. So I go with my dad when he likes the Raiders.
So does your dad like John Gruden?
I don't know. I think he does. He's been a fan for a long time.
Yeah. Well, listen, man. I hope your dad's it gets better, and I'll be pulling for the Raiders for your dad. How about that? Because I don't really have any AFC teams that I really care about other than maybe the Texans a little bit, but. So tell your dad. I'm sure this is not going to make him feel any better at all, and I'm sure it never will. But tell him that Pigskin Pete will be rooting for the Raiders just for him, and so that I can prove to everybody that I was right that Antonio Brown was not the problem with the Steelers. It's Ben Roethlisberger. So I'm a little bit selfish in that way.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, man.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you calling in.
All right. I'm going to watch your live stream too. So.
All right, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem. All right.
All right. There you have it, folks. There's Brandon. Everyone put up some prayers for his dad. Obviously not doing very well, he says. And he's an Eagles fan. And he says that the Eagles are going 13-3, and on a scale of 1 to 10, he hates everybody in that division a 9.5, except for the Cowboys. He has a 10 in hate for them. And on top of that, he likes Cam Newton, which is pretty shocking in itself. Anyway, so I see you guys are talking about baseball in here. That's what happens when Prince 6'1" comes in the chat. He's a baseball player. Now, I do know this. I haven't followed it that closely, but I do know that Clemson's baseball team is kicking ass already so far this year. They started outside of the top 25, and they moved up like 18 spots in the first 2 weeks. I haven't seen what they've done in the past couple of days, but they're looking good right now. Somebody says they have a rookie card of Trout. They still have baseball cards now? Did not know that. When I was a kid, baseball cards were everything, man. Now they're basically worthless. I do have, well, I can't get it for you right now. I do have a Nolan Ryan rookie card signed. I do have a baseball signed by Nolan Ryan in my son's room. I don't know how much that stuff's worth. I'll find out one day. Southeast dominates in baseball, says Prince. All right, I'm going to check and see if there's, oh, great, no calls. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the call-in studio, so.
We are sorry, but the show has ended. Goodbye.
You hear that? Damn. He didn't put it lightly, did it? All right, so you heard the man. We are sorry, but the show has ended. Thank you, everybody, for stopping in. Thank you to Hound Dog, by the way, for the $10 super chat. You're amazing and fantastic. Thanks to Prince 6'1" for calling in. Thanks to Brandon for calling in. Prayers up to your father. Thanks to KP, Billy Dawson, Puffy B. Sellin. Good afternoon to you, sir. Everyone that stopped. Dennis Wilson pops in now. Dennis, why do you always come in at the very end, man? Dennis says, hey, who do you Clemson Tigers think they are? Well, we think that we're the defending national champions that went 15-0, sir. Not hard. Anyway, thanks everybody that stopped in. You're all amazing. You're all fantastic. If I can do a stream tomorrow night at some point, I will do it for the beer drinker stream that I normally do on Friday night. If not, look out for the video that I'm going to post tomorrow with my man Mark Dudley to talk about Michigan football. So if you're a Michigan football fan or if you're somebody that hates Michigan football, either way, tune in for that. Drop a like, hit subscribe, and of course comment, good or bad. All right, guys. Thank you. Have a great day. Big C and Pete. Checking out.